Hello guys. So in this slide, I would be talking about the books that you should refer for your preparation in in your dream to get into the big five of software companies like Facebook, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Apple. You may want to sit with a paper and pen or open a notepad for basically this one because I will be taking out a lot of names of the books and yeah, you might want to pause the video while taking notes before diving into the interview books. First, you should be clear with the fundamentals. If your fundamental is not clear on the advanced level, that is, if you're underconfident with writing basic codes, then it is better to work on that first. Study from basic programming books. I will not name them, but you can Google on that. I will do another video on basic programming books for absolute beginners. And a lot of time it looks like if we, it a lot of time it looks like we can run the small programs, like reversing a string or eliminating duplicates in a string, or checking whether a number is prime or not, or finding the reverse of a number. However, when we actually sit with a pen and a paper to actually write the program, we realize that we had not thought through, and then there are like a lot of beginner level programmers who can actually make mistakes in that as well. So if you are on that level, it will be great if you can basically if you can basically brush up on that and be a little bit confident on that, and then come back and then start preparing for top notch interviews. It is better to write on a sheet of paper and think through the solution, then run the code on the IDE and see if it is behaving correctly. If not, then you should definitely open. If not, then you should open a debugger and then run the code line by line to see where the program is going wrong, and see the state of important variables with the help of debugger that you have attached to your IDE, and which line is behaving unexpectedly. So as far as book is concerned, I will try to basically name all the books. So what basically I'm trying to say here is that a book basically costs less than a medium Domino's pizza, right? So I will be naming a lot of books, and I would advise that you should buy all the books that I'm naming and then read from everyone one by one, and then realize that, and then basically come to a conclusion that which book is best for you, right? And a lot of time there is a coherency and resonance with the way the author approaches the subject and with the way you think. So it is advisable, that's only it is advisable to try them all, right? And then find out which book is basically closest to the way in which your mind works and understands, and so that you can develop a thinking, you can basically develop an algorithmic or design thinking, or the programming thinking, right? So for data structures and algorithms, a few good books are Design and Analysis of Computer Algorithm by Aho Alfred and Hopkort, An Introduction to Data Structures with Algorithms by Trembly, Data Structures in C and C++ by Langsam, Augustine. That is, if you would like to prefer, if you would like to choose C and C++ as your primary programming languages while giving interviews. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I've told this before, but these interviews are not programming specific. They are programming agnostic, which basically means that it doesn't matter which programming language you choose, but you should be a master of that programming language, whichever programming language you use. So you can't just go into a programming interview and scribble down the pseudo code or the algorithm. You have to write you basically have to write the working piece of function, if not the whole program. You can eliminate things like importing, or in case of Java, things like importing, and in case of C or C++ things like including. Probably that part you can ignore, but the function or the module that you write should be in the programming language, and it should be in a executable condition, and preferably it should be production ready, and you should consider all the corner cases. So yeah, other books that is really good for data structures and algorithms are Fundamentals of Data Structures by Ellis, Horowitz, and Sartaj, Sahani, and this has been used by a lot of people as a reference book, including one of the mentors that I always I look forward to, and I try to learn as much things as possible from him. And then for there is another standard books that is probably the standards of in the all the Ivy League colleges in the United States and all the Indian Institute of Technologies, which is basically Algorithms by Corman. So even this book is really reputed, and I highly recommend this book, but this is kind of a little bit advanced. So yeah, you can make a call. So I have already given you a list of options, and you can choose any one of them. Also, you can do your own research, basically talk to your professors and your peers and people who have already cracked these kind of interviews, and whom you feel that their fundamentals are really clear, you can actually talk to them, and if they give a new recommendation, you can probably write that down in the comment section. I will highly appreciate that, and maybe in the next series of my video I will cover the best ones, based on how many likes you got, how many likes you get in that comment, and also based on my personal research. So a lot of times, even if you don't get a lot of likes, but then what you're recommending is something solid which I feel can be used by all the viewers of my videos, or all the readers, all the basically attendees of the conferences that I do, I will definitely include it and I will give you your credits. And also I'm not making money out of it, so credit will be nothing more than citation. So yeah. Yeah, so coming to the object oriented concepts, I'm assuming that before diving into the object oriented concepts, you are already thorough with basic programmings and are confident to write code in them. Here are a few books on this topic that by no means are exhaustive lists, but a list of dominant ones in my opinion. I would recommend not to take my word for it, but do your own research. You can comment below if you find some more books that are good or even better than the ones that I tell. It is highly appreciable. Design patterns are best studied along with object-oriented programming. So I am giving a mixed list, and a lot of people want to separate data structures from algorithms while studying them, or while presenting the course material, and I respect that decision. Similarly, a lot of people try to separate object-oriented programming with design patterns, but the whole point of object-oriented programming is that you can use them to create really good design. And then design pattern is an advanced topic which is basically based on the fundamentals that object-oriented programming, it is based on the foundation that object-oriented programming gives. So I would suggest that we should read it together. And there is a very good book by Craig Larraman known as Applying UML and Patterns. And then there is Design Patterns by Eric Gama, Richard Helm, Ralph Johnson, and John Vlissides. I'm not sure how to pronounce his title, so it's spelled as John, John, Vlissides. Then there is Unified Modelly Language by Grady Book, and or is it Booch? I'm not sure. GRADYBOOCH. Head First Design Pattern by Eric Freeman and Elizabeth, which also contains really good information, which really contains really great knowledge of Java 8 in the latest version, and in the previous version of Java, as well as how to apply those Java concepts and Java functionality in developing basically good design patterns and the standard design patterns. So I'm not going to dive very deep into what design patterns are, because you can actually Google it, and that is out of scope of this video. This video is basically to guide you and basically show you the North Star for your preparation, and by no means this is an exhaustive material. So this basically gives you a pointer to beginner or intermediate people who actually desire to crack the big 5 interviews. So I'll not go into like very detail of what design patterns are, but I'll only give you the right materials and the pointers on how you should approach the preparation. Then there is a really great book called The CPP Programming by Jarnes Traustrup, and I'm really not sure if I pronounced the name correctly. Probably I did not, so I'll spell it out. The name of the author: BJARNESTROUP. Then there is Effective C++ by Scott Mayers, and then there is More Effective C++ by Scott Mayers for the people who have already completed the first book and they want to go into a little more advanced topics. And I would suggest reading both of them if you choose to. If you choose to read one of them, then there is C++ Complete Reference by Herbert Shield, and this is like a holy grail of C++. And C++ and even object-oriented concepts and a lot of good concepts have, if you basically read C++ and implement it in the right way as suggested by Herbert Shield, automatically your object-oriented concepts will become really strong. And this is the book that I personally use, and I have cracked a lot of design rounds and as well as done a lot of implementation in my professional career using the concepts described in this book. And the great part is that this book also gives you fundamentals of procedure-oriented programming. I really cannot recall if this also contains design pattern, but I don't think it does, so I'm not sure. I'll probably mention it in the comment section once I refer this book. Actually, you can see the bookshelf on the back, right? I have that book right there at a hand's distance, but I am lazy, so I don't want to open it now. Yeah, so moving ahead, there is a great design pattern book which is called as Head First Design Pattern, a brain-friendly guide by Eric. A brain-friendly guide. I'm really sorry, I'll pronounce it all over again. Head First Design Pattern, a brain-friendly guide by Eric Freeman, Elizabeth Robson, Bert Bates, and Kathy Sierra. And even this is also considered as a holy grail for for basically the design pattern. This is also considered as the holy grail for design pattern, in a lot of universities and Ivy League colleges. So yeah, now coming to design. So basically, I'll talk about the books that you can refer to while solidifying your design concepts, generic design concepts, as well as specific architectural level design concepts. So here, actually, unfortunately, there aren't many good books that I've come across really into developing design thinkings. There are technology and platform specific design books available, but nothing but nothing is available that can really mold an engineer to become a really good designer and architect as well as a design thinker in general. I believe that I am blessed with design thinking by birth only, so which basically means that given a problem statement I can quickly design an elegant solution with the right tools and technologies available to me. That may be because I have been involved in playing strategy games like chess and Age of Empires from childhood only, or it may be genetic because my father is a great civil engineer and has implemented design and now supervising the construction as chief engineer for a lot of infrastructure of the government successfully. That's also a reason why I will be writing my own book known as Mastering the Design Interview, so that everyone can benefit from the gift that I have been gifted with. That will help readers in developing a generic design sense in the field of technology, software, and IT. Since this topic is really close to my heart, I will do a detailed analysis in this section of which are the good design books, which are the comparatively good design books available right now. So there's one book called as Peeling Design Patterns by Narasimha Karumanchi. Narasimha. I am not sure if it is available in the United States, but it is one of the best, probably the best design book that is available right now. The book that I am writing will be available globally, including United States. So once that comes out, you can probably rule out all the design books that I'm talking about right now, but that might take some time. So for the time being, I'm reviewing the design books that are available in the market right away. So, the Peeling Design Patterns by Narasimha Karumanchi, this book only talks about one aspect of design thinking and not really develop design and, not really develop a great design thinking, but rather a book that basically caters to techie who probably didn't master it at the college level. And then there is no paperback, there's no other paperback book that I could actually found in good, that basically provides you really good depth about, how to approach the design interviews and how to develop design thinking. So I will review only the books that are available on the Kindle edition. There is one book known as System Design Interview by Stanley Belbrook. This book is really too shallow, not good enough for top-notch tech engineers, and it is also tech only. By means of this book, you will explore the depth of the system design, learn effective design techniques, and how to approach your system design interviews in the right way. And you will be prepared for any question the interviewer might ask. And this book is kind of informative and educative. It is a useful guide that teaches the basics rather than focusing on the question in an interview. And it is actually good for engineers at all level. And just to provide you the starting point, it basically provides you the starting point to think about, and it is not really that much into technical or detailed example. Book is short, so it is worth giving a single read to this. I believe this book is printed from a blog or something. It has got only 83 pages and very huge line spacing. For every topic it might have like one page to talk about, which is quite superficial. And then there is a chapter on frequently asked questions in system design, but don't expect any hint or detailed explanation on what should be paid attention to. I don't think this book should be called a book because it is too shallow for that. And that is my review on System Design by Stanley Belbrook. And I hope I was not too critical. I did go the extra mile to find out the merits of this book, and the merits that I mentioned are actually there. I did not make it up just to sugarcoat what I'm trying to say. Now moving on to the next book, which is known as System Design Interview by Stuart Board. What a coincidence. So the initials of both the authors are same, Stanley Belbrook and Stuart Board. Anyways, so I was interested in reading this book. It is basically a strategic guide for a successful interview, and is an easy to understand step by step book that provides clarity on how to prepare and respond to the questions in an interview. I also read about the system development life cycle, scalable architecture, distributed system, things you will need to know prior to the interview. And then again, the problem with this book, as this is non-modular and there is no use case discussed over there. There is no explanatory diagram. Also doesn't teach about how to represent your ideas to the interview with the means of UML, etc. And sometimes people falter during conveying the idea of the solution in mind rather than coming to the solution itself. Especially in terms of design rounds, it is really important to understand that there is no one right answer. I talked about the confirmation bias before. The confirmation bias handling becomes even more paramount while handling a design round. So, just to give you a little bit of hints on that, you should always, whenever a design round starts, you should always try to question the interviewer on what exactly is he expecting in the solution. Is he expecting a UML diagram? Is he expecting a class diagram? Is he expecting a database relation management diagram or an ER diagram? So you should clearly scope it out. Is he expecting kind of UI or something like that? You should clearly scope out that what are the expectation of the interviewer, because it can become really, really broad. Questions like design an Uber, or design a WhatsApp messenger, or design a Facebook messenger, or design a social network like Facebook or LinkedIn. Some these questions are really, really generic, and they, depending on what is the background of the interviewer and what is the position that you are being interviewed for, the scope that the answer that is expected from you varies a lot. So it is great idea to basically ask a lot of questions, and basically be very, very clear on what the interviewer is expecting, which aspect of the design is the interviewer expecting. So is he asking on how you will balance so much of load, or is he asking that how you will scale up the system in future? These kind of questions you should like really be clear with before you approach to a solution. So yeah, even as I told that the book that I am writing will be different from this book, because the book that I'm writing will be more modular, and the organization of the content will be way better. We will dive into use cases which will go a long way in developing the design thinking. We will also make a good use of diagrams and illustrations, which this book clearly lacks. We will use high level and low level data flow, UML and class diagram as and when needed. This will also inculcate an amazing skill of documenting and representing of our own idea to the users, which will come in handy while acing the design round of interviews. And it will also come in handy while you pitch your ideas, as a startup, or as a team, if you want something to be implemented in an organization that you feel will basically bring in more profit to the organization or be beneficial in the long run. The art of basically conveying your idea through block diagrams and other and the usage of good grammar and language, as well as with the usage of lucid information, will come in handy, and it will go a long way. As you can see that me personally, I'm not really good at communication while speaking. However, I'm really good at communication when I basically want to convey an idea on a technical level. So after reading my book, everybody will actually understand on how to convey those kind of technical architecture design kind of ideas to their higher management, or during an interview, or while pitching for a startup. So then moving on, there is another book called a System Design Interview and Insider's Guide by Alex. And this book has been amazing in terms of giving a good platform to preparation of system design. I will summarize what makes this book stand out. First, this book is well organized. It started with an introduction to system design fundamental knowledge, and then took a deep dive into a collection of interview questions. And then the solutions are very clear for every problem. The author draws a lot of diagrams to explain. A picture is worth 1,000 words, no doubts on that. The book goes deep, and the system, and yes, so this book basically accepts the fact that for the most people system design is hard, and the book has the depth to prepare you for them. Hard and deep concepts are explained in an easy to understand way, obsolete from today's standpoints. And so yeah, what I basically believe is that besides these plus points, the main negative points this book has is that it is obsolete from today's standpoints and trends. And also, the concept that is discussed, it goes deep into those. But overall, I would say that the comprehensiveness of the number of concepts concept and the design covered is pretty shallow, and I could not have just so yeah, the main problem that I'm talking about is that I couldn't just read online instead of buying this book, and it only covers three problems and doesn't cover many generic concepts of the system design. So that is one way in which the book that I am writing I feel would be better, because we are covering like more than 20 probably. I'm not sure what is the number, but it is somewhere around, probably, and somewhere more than 20, if I mean if not equal, number of problems and use cases that I'll be discussing in my book, that will go a long way in basically developing a design thinking and attacking a design problem from different perspectives, from different directions, and a lot of practice and gaining a good level of confidence on that. So you can actually now, from this point onwards, you can go to interview specific books. So what I basically mean to say is that once you are very confident with your fundamental programming and object oriented concepts, and also you have like good level of understanding and control and clutch over the design aspect of the programming interview, then after that only I would suggest picking up a design interview specific book. Otherwise, if your basic fundamentals are not clear and then you pick up a coding interview book, it will not really make any sense, and you will have to end up mucking up the concepts, which will not really help you in any way. So I would try to finish this video as soon as possible, because I realized that I just crossed 20 minutes, and stuff's become boring, and the whole point of me breaking the entire session down will falter if I exceed like half an hour. So yeah, so I will just go into like programming specific books now. There is a great book called as Cracking the Coding Interviews by Gail Lackman McDowell, which I highly recommend after you have covered up your basics and fundamentals. And then there is a book called as Coding Interview Questions by Narasimha Karumanchi, the same author that has also written Peeling the Design Patterns. And again, I'm not sure if it is available in the US and Europe, but it is available in India. And then there's another book called as Programming Interview Exposed by Eric Gigor, John Mongan, and Noah Kindler. And I'm really sorry to these authors if I pronounce their name incorrectly. So before ending, as I said, that you have to first clear your fundamentals up before moving to the before moving to interview specific books, and before reading object oriented concepts, your basic programming concepts must be good. And before picking up the software design pattern, your object oriented programming should be good. And then when all the three of these are good, then you should go ahead and start with the design preparation. And when you have done all of this, then you should start with the interview specific book. Otherwise, if your fundamental is not clear, this will do more harm than good, and you'll end up confused if you directly pick up these books. But at the same time, I'm not expecting you to become a master in these topics, like because there is no perfection. The purpose of life itself is to move as close to perfection as possible. And if you are already perfect, then your purpose in life will no more be there, and it will be kind of nihilistic. So what I'm trying to say is that gain a level of confidence in these topics before moving to the next topic, before moving to the subsequent topic. However, don't obsess over it. Once you gain like 70 percentile, so once you feel that you are better than 70 percentile of people who are probably who are probably in the market, or who are probably competing with you, then you should definitely move on to the next topic. Because then because otherwise you will just end up obsessing over a single topic, and then your overall progress will be blocked. So what I'm trying to say is that it should not happen that your one arm, while I really like taking the example of a gym basically. So it should not happen that one arm you have worked out so much and the other arms you have completely ignored. Even if one arm you have actually worked out to a certain extent, then you should definitely move on to the other arm and then other parts of the body, rather than having like 25 inches biceps and ignoring all your other parts of the body, right? So yeah, thank you for bearing with me. And I realized that I did make more grammar mistakes in this in this specific video. So really thanks to all my audience for bearing with me for like fifth video, so for like 5 long videos. And then I'll probably give another 2 videos or 3 videos, max 3 videos. After that, you should be clear on your path to after that, you should be having ample knowledge to equip you in your journey for preparation of big five of the software companies that has the potential to change your life, that has potential to turn your life for good, turn the tables of your life for good. Okay, enough of paraphrases now. Thank you. I hope you did learn something new in this video, and see you in the next video.